Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It's Monday, October 16, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me on the program today. We are also live via social media. You can check us out on ZIZ's YouTube channel as well as ZIZ's Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today, Monday, October 16, 2023. I am Devonne Cornelius. I want to share with you the top stories locally, regionally, and internationally. The things that are trending across St. Kitts and Nevis, the Caribbean region, and across the world. Locally, the efforts progressing to extract water at the Keon well, so the Water Services Department or the Water Services Department, Government of St. Kitts and Nevis are working to address the issues relating to water shortage, and as St. Kitts and Nevis grapple with the effects of climate change, and so efforts are progressing there. Across the region, U.S. Navy woman allegedly paid men to kill MP's daughter and child's mom. This has been trending for some time. The news outlets in Jamaica have been reporting on this heavily, and other media outlets across the Caribbean region. But this, we understand, the mother of the daughter and the child's mother suffered a very gruesome death, and they have, I think, at least two people in custody already. And on the international scene, Israel vows to demolish Hamas as troops prepare to move on Gaza. I hope that we are paying attention to what is happening globally, what is happening internationally, because these things have an effect on what happens here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I know last week we had a conversation on minimum wage and the cost of living generally, and the cost of food, and these wars and conflicts rather, they have an effect on, they affect us, and they have an effect on our way of life here in the Caribbean region. It is just 4 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. For those of you who want to participate in the discussion later on in the program, you can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Now, last week, I got some homework from a caller. He wanted to find out the percentage of young people in St. Kitts and Nevis, or to get an idea of how many young people reside in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And so I reached out to the Department of Statistics last week, and they were able to provide me with some information. I think this is from 2017. There was a recent census done, or a survey, but they don't have the information readily available as yet, but they do have the information from 2017. So for the island of St. Kitts, for males, that's 4,353, and for females, that's 4,723. So again, for males, that's 4,353, and for females, that is 4,723, which gives us a total of 9,076. And for the island, and this is the age, is from 16 to 30, ages 16 to 30. And for the island of Nevis, for males, that's 1,399. Again, that's 1,399. And for females, that is 1,358, which gives us a total of 2,757 people between the ages of 16 to 30. I think for the island of St. Kitts, there was some information missing for the parish of St. George, and so the information for St. Kitts may not be as accurate, but I'm going to follow up to get the additional information or the additional numbers on that. But that just gives you an idea of how many young people are in St. Kitts, and of course we look forward to the new data that would come from the census that was recently done. You know, only yesterday, the 15th, we celebrated CARICOM, or Caribbean World Statistics Day. And I think on the 20th of this month, yes, the 20th of this month, the world will celebrate World Statistics Day. So that is the information. So it's Caribbean Statistics Day, celebrated on the 15th of October each year. And World Statistics Day, I believe, is celebrated on the 20th of October each day. And of course, the various statistics departments across the Caribbean region, they do a number of activities in commemoration of this day. But I got the information and I just wanted to share that with you. As I mentioned earlier, some information is missing for the parish of St. George on the island of St. Kitts. I'm going to go back to get that and provide it as soon as it becomes available. It is 8 minutes past. We'll take a short break. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. So let's take this break and we will be right back. Welcome back to the program. You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. We'll open the phone lines shortly. The numbers are 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Before we open the phone lines, I want to expound some more on the topic I mentioned earlier in terms of efforts to extract water from the Keon well. So I have here with me an article from the Information Service. It says that work to extract water from the newly discovered well in Keon and add it to the distribution system is progressing as the government moves to address the water shortage resulting from the challenges from climate change. Now, the well was discovered in August of this year following drilling by the Bedrock Exploration Development Technologies, and it says that it is expected to provide between 700,000 and 1 million gallons of water per day. The minister with responsibility for water services, Conrad Maynard, gave an update on the steps that are being taken to extract the water from the new well, which has already been tested and deemed potable. In other words, safe to drink, safe to consume. Now, he said that tests also had to be done to determine how much water comes out of the well. This will inform the selection of an appropriate pump. It says it is not something you pick up. You make those determinations. It will then take a few months. The new pump manufactured according to the characteristics of the well, because a pump that pulls water from 500 feet below the ground is different from a pump that pulls from 300 feet. All right. He noted that the government is trying to expedite the process so that residents can enjoy greater access to water as soon as practical. I'm pretty sure most of you have been following reports via social media of people sharing their experience of not having access to water. And I can only imagine how that is. It says here that they are working to address that. They have dug a new well and they are progressing in doing so. It is never, of course, a good feeling when you don't have water. And so I think one would appreciate that this level of work is going into ensuring that people have access to water. And, something that is very important. I'm not sure how many of you are aware, but today we are celebrating World Food Day. And it is interesting that I brought this topic of water and access to water. World Food Day, access to water, they go hand in hand. Last week we spoke about food security and where we are in terms of our 25 by 2025 agenda. And in order for us to get there, water has to be a part of the conversation. Water has to be a part of it. Access to potable water and access to water for our farmers and for our livestock. It is 13 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. We'll open the phone lines. We want to hear from you, your thoughts and opinions on this discussion. You can call us at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. Again, the numbers to call are 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. As I mentioned, today we are celebrating World Food Day. I was unable to get the address given by the minister, but I'll play that at a later program. So we're celebrating World Food Day and we're talking about access to water and, of course, people needing access to water, which is very, very, very important. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. Give us your view, your opinions on this. Now, in commemoration of World Food Day, the heads of departments within the ministries of agriculture, fishery, marine resources, they visited. They had a church service, I think, and the worship. So they had a church service and they have other activities coming up in celebration of World Food Day. I'm not sure if we understand the significance of World Food Day. Yes, some may view it as just a day, but what we do as a people and what we do behind the scenes to ensure that we are consuming food that is safe, to ensure that we are consuming food that is nutritious. We've been having the conversation for decades about the type of food and the kind of food that we consume and the food that we give our children, right? And we know in St. Kitts and Nevis in particular, the Ministries of Health and Agriculture, yes, Ministries of Health and Agriculture have been encouraging our people to consume locally made stuff, to eat local, to buy local, but most importantly, to eat local, right? And I think we're at a point where we ask ourselves how many of us have been doing that, how many of us have been buying local and eating local, right? And being part of the solution to the problem that we face here in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have our first call for this morning, so let's head to the phone lines and we'll take this call. A caller, you're on the air. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Okay. Good morning, Devon.
How are you doing today?
I am good, man. You close to the edge. Anyway, I'm going to throw you up so you can hold on, eh?
I'm here.
Okay. Now, according to the topic that you bring up, when it comes to Kanye West, I do not believe nothing come out of his mouth. In first place, why should politicians tell lies to impress people? That's the first question. I don't believe nothing at all Kanye would say. It's truth. And when it comes to Dr. Joe, he and Kanye is in the same category. They tell too much lies to people and they need to stop it. Done with lying, man. Everybody tell lies. But people must not tell lies to get to where they want to go. Speak the truth. If you're supposed to get there, you will get there. If you're not supposed to get there, don't tell a lie to get there. That's number one. Now this thing about with the war up in Israel and them up there. The Bible says, before Israel, many nations going to attack Israel. And before Israel lose, God going to step in. And the amount of nation up there against Israel, all over the place, and Israel ain't do them nothing. What that tells us, time dry now. Time dry now, but Israel ain't going to lose the fight. And I supporting Israel 100%. Anybody do anything, do them back. Because God is on his side. Israel is God's chosen people. That's enough for now. Thank you very much, Devon.
Thank you, caller, so much for your call to the program. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. The phone lines are open and we want to hear from you. Today we're focusing or having a conversation around food and water. Something that two things that we definitely need as human beings, and us playing a role in ensuring that we are consuming nutritious and quality food, and to ensure that we have access to potable water. All right. I was listening to an interview recently, and the Water Services Department, they spoke about the need to ration water. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm pretty sure most of you can relate to this, or perhaps you are guilty of having this conversation with others when it comes around to saving water. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Let me stick up in. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes, how are you doing today?
Hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead. How are you doing?
Shut up. Good morning.
All right, go ahead, make your point.
Yeah. Dealing with the water and the water system and the rationing of the water.
Yes.
Mr. Cornelius?
Yes, go ahead.
When I speak for me, right? I don't know, but I have a problem. I don't know what can be done in terms of the water problem that we have. When I say that, I mean, we agree that, there's water shortage. But yet still, not calling out anybody. We have function. And we are a wet fit. My question is, where do they get the water from to have a wet fit? To be wetting down, and you get notices on the radio saying that, you must not water your lawn, you must not wash your car from the pipe, and different things. My question is, can the government put any regulation whatsoever in terms of, I call it wastage, that wastage of water?
Mm-hmm. You want me to respond to you now, or?
Hello?
Yeah, caller, you have any more questions, or that's it?
I was trying to engage you to find out what you think.
Okay, well, in response to the first question you asked about where does the water come from, I was listening to an interview when a wet fed was being held recently in the Federation, and somebody called into a program to ask where does the water come from, the same question that you asked, and the response given by the organizers of that event was the water does not come from the government. So in other words, they don't go to a government pipe and take the water from the pipe. They go to a private business, a company, and they purchase the water from them. I understand that. However, my point is it is still water. It is still water. It is still coming from somewhere, right? So that's your response to your first question. You asked, can the government do something to I don't know, set up a law or whatever? I would think so.
Because when I said that, right, we get notices via the radio about how you could ration water in terms of not washing water in your lawn, locking. I mean, I have a car and I can't hook my hose to it and wash my car from my own source that I'm paying for. I guess that's the same thing the private organizer would be saying, that they're using their own water to do the whipping.
Mm-hmm.
But then, where does their water come from?
Mm-hmm.
The water comes from the source that is being provided by the water department, right?
I don't know where the water comes from. I don't know if they have catchment systems. I think that is what the organizer was explaining. Yes, so that private business that has water, they have their own catchment system. I understand that, but it is still water.
That's my.
All right, and thank you so much for your contribution to the program. It is 11:21, and you're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I am Devonne Cornelius. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 465-2555. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you are on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Waterman. The water department people, them just get on ZIZ. And there will be warning in people telling us where to look for leaks, water leaking in our property.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they tell you, well, check the toilet, see if it's dripping every minute and wheresoever.
Mm-hmm.
That is their right to do that, to conserve water.
Right.
But have they gone around the island and tell all them people who got them big swimming pool in the yard full of water, the amount of millions of gallons of water to fill up some of them swimming pool? Well, what is that? That is conserving water? The wasting water? When a poor man can't wash down his bicycle because he wasting water to wash down a bike. But those swimming pool, have they gone on the island and tell people, well, you got to shut off the intake valve and conserve water, leave the swimming pool until it is possible that we have water in abundance? That is our question. They need to come on the radio and tell people if they went go do that. Because if they're telling you, don't wash down your bicycle or your pedal pan because you're wasting water. Mm-hmm. But what they're doing, they're defeating the purpose by allowing them with a big system to fill up. That's all I come back to talk about. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, caller, for your contribution to the program. It is 11:23. The phone lines are open. We're taking your calls at 465-2555 or 718-577-2916. We are on the topic of water and food. But before the callers came in, I was making the point, and I was saying that this is the conversation I'm pretty sure most of us have had and are guilty of. And a caller alluded to it a short while ago, when some people are of the notion some people think and some people say that I am paying for the water so I could do what I want with it. In other words, you're paying for the water so you could turn on the pipe or the valve, whatever, and leave it running for as long as you want to. It's ridiculous. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you are on the air.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to the listeners who my brother Tyrone here. A question. As we in the same spot here every year, right? And every year I keep saying to the different governments, the different private sector, the building board, the banks, the contractors, make it mandatory that every house bill must attach a system to a water catchment. Well, as you know, they take up my idea and they go on now and they bring in tanks to give to people. Now, the other question is, when we in this spot every year, could we say that we're not giving the tourist boat them all those billions of gallons of water? You see the question?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm listening to you.
A very hard question, because then somebody gonna say, oh, if you ain't give them no water, they're gonna pull the ships. Right? That's one part of it. But what about some negotiation when they go to meet all these agents of these tourist boats, tell them, well, at a certain time in the year, we're going to have to either cut your amount of water in half or quarter, or we can't give you the water for 6 months or 3 months or whatever, because it does be a heavy burden on our citizens here in the dry season. How about those kind of talk and negotiation? Because if you have to work out the billions, any millions, because one of those tourist boat tanks, if a swimming pool will take millions, what tourist boat don't take? One of those big tourist boats with all 8 and 9 and 10,000 passengers, even 4,000 or 5,000 passengers, even 3,000 passengers, the amount of water we give them. How about that negotiation when they go to meet these agents? Because they're telling us we must stop a little drip, a little leak. But how about cutting down a tourist boat? Because I sure out of the 2 and the 3 and 400 cars we just get, I sure more than 150 of them just take water from us. So add all that water to when you're telling us, when we go in the bath and you don't turn on the water to soap up your rag, lock off the pipe. Add that to a tourist boat or even to 20 tourist boats. So we should think about the other side too. And as my friend always call in culture, say, those people with the swimming pool, how about asking them to limit with the amount of water they're putting in a swimming pool in the dry season? They still want the pool them full to have the leisure time with their friends, family, and the invitees. How about some negotiation with them there too? But you're telling with the small people in the 1 and 2 bedroom house, what's the water we use? Don't water again, don't wash your car, don't wash down your house. But nobody talk about the swimming pool and the tourist boat, them are gone.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. We have another caller on the line. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Devonne.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Oh, boy, I almost missed the program. I just come from Body Animal.
All right.
Brother Devonne, let me tell you something, right? I think common sense alone should show the people in the Federation how to manage water and use the water. Because they understand that year after year now, only when it goes to hurricane season, rain coming. And I do not think that people supposed to come on all the time and tell people manage water, manage water. If we got common sense and we got understanding, and we know the situation and we know the importance of water. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We the people supposed to manage our water ourselves. We cannot depend on government to do everything. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Government could only do so much. But when we go waste it, we don't fully waste it. Not that water shortage in different parts of the country. And we go fully waste, and we get less rain year after year, we get less rain. Tell me what government going to do. You only think government could do? It's going to insolidation plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the water down there. Because I think in the Devon, after a while, you know, we can even go stop to agriculture garden so long, you know. Sometimes we can go sell out with animal them or something, you know. Because I wouldn't like it to happen. Devon, I wouldn't like this to happen. But the way how people going on and how people ignorant and talking sometimes, eh? The father looking down on us, you know, Devon. The father looking down on us, you know. And the father see the wickedness of this nation, this country, you know. What's going on in the country, you know? All what's going on in the work of the father, you know. Brother Devon.
I understand.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm following.
If we
you.
don't try to manage things and do things that we're supposed to do, we ain't going to get nowhere. Everything but government, all this government, going to do that, government, going to do that. When we build a house, we build a system down on it. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, then, Devon.
All right. And caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. I'm listening to the thoughts and ideas. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Devon.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
First, let me correct misconception about swimming pool water.
Okay.
You really change water in a swimming pool probably once every several years. Yeah? Once the pool is chlorinated and kept clean, it's several years that pool water lasts. You don't replace it. Okay, that's the first thing. Right. So to come down on swimming pools and so on is really not fair. Secondly, I think what happened with our water situation is that we got too reactive. Okay, this should have been it should have been seen down the road long time ago that we were going to have a problem with water. Mm-hmm. Okay, and therefore take mitigating action against it. Okay, I can't swear to it because I don't know for sure, mm-hmm. but I am almost sure that the technicians in the water department probably saw this coming, mm-hmm. probably made recommendations, but these were not followed. I suspect that is what happened. And so we're in this situation now where it's really grave, right? So I would say we prioritize other things rather than looking at basic stuff like making sure that we had adequate water for now and in the future. And as a result of that, we are here trying to put out fires.
Mm. Okay. But, Mr. McMahon, as you made that comment, right, this is similar to when the experts, the meteorologists are giving us an update about the tropical storms and hurricane, and we ignore them until the time comes, right. And we start to panic.
Yeah, exactly right. And even if you can say that the meteorologists, they were wrong in the forecast in that they kept warning us, hurricane is coming, and it didn't come, right, or it glanced us, that gave us a false sense of security. It doesn't mean that they're going to be wrong all the time. Mm-hmm. And at some point we know you're going to get hit. And so you prepare for getting hit. You don't say, well, they were wrong 9 times out of 10, so I ain't going to bother with them this 10th time. And that 10th time is when you get hit. So, like I said, we prioritize the wrong things, and as a result, we're in the situation we're in. I mean, in my opinion, though, we could have done better to manage this current crisis in the sense that somehow or the other, the authorities were convinced that storage of water wasn't the issue. And I don't know how people bought into that, because in the final analysis, that is now what we're doing with the bins, for instance, with the water tanks. Okay, we're actually storing water for at least whether it's a couple of days or weeks, so that it's not as inconvenient and it's not such a drag on the reservoirs that we do have. In my estimation, they should have been building bigger reservoirs as well as supplement that, as well as giving out tanks. Okay, because you can build a reservoir now, right, in a very short time. Okay, they have prefabricated a lot of the reservoir after they put on the base is prefabricated. Okay, so they should have been looking at that as well as part of the solution, while we look at more long-term solutions like desalination and the like. And one thing about the tanks that are being introduced now, I honestly felt that they should have been more environmentally friendly in terms of not using electrical pumps. Use gravity-fed systems. Okay?
Okay.
That don't require energy, don't require maintenance, as much maintenance as perhaps electrical pumps, won't send up your electricity bill. Those kinds of things. I mean, all they had to do was put them at a sufficient height that allow for gravity to deliver water to the homes. But, again, it's always a case of you respond. That's what happens when you respond in an ad hoc way to a crisis. You want to get it done, and so you end up choosing something which may not be the best solution to a problem.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you, caller, for your contribution. Do we have any more callers on the phone line? We have one more caller. After this call, we'll take a break. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Yes, Devon.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, let me correct that last caller, dear. No swimming pool where people go in every day on a regular basis, go bathe. Don't take years before they change the water. I used to clean swimming pool, and I know what it is. And especially on tourist boat. You think you could get water in a swimming pool and tourist boat for years and don't change them? So he giving the wrong concept about swimming pool. And why me and my good brother Carl Brown, we talk about the swimming pool? Because we see the quantity of gallons of water that they fill up a swimming pool. And that is what we're talking about. We are talking about the comparison to them and the little house where you got to, they're telling you shut off this and shut off that in your yard. Well, they got these millions of gallons of water filling up in pool and wasting. So people, you get that straight.
All
and we're talking about, hold on, we're talking about the injustice. How is it you're going to crucify Devon for his little pipe dripping in the bathroom? His little pipe, he shut it off. But then you got them there with a big 6-inch pipe pulling out the water tank. You were going to say something?
Yeah, well, I was asking you to wrap it up so we could take a break and when we come back.
Thank you very much, man. I don't get it off.
Yes, and thank you for your contribution to the program. I am going to ask a question to find out in terms of how often do you change the water for the pool. I'm not certain, so I'll try to find out about that, and we'll take a break and we'll be right back. Let's set this break.
Wednesday, 18th October is the day for the 2023 World Food Day Agri Night Market. Going down to the public market from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. Celebrated during the Ministry of Agriculture's World Food Day week of activities. This month's night market will feature local produce, fresh fish and meat, agro-processed goods, and get this, delicious diamond-backed squid products. Get ready for the crowd favorite watermelon eating competition! Registration forms are available right now at the public market, the Ministry of Agriculture, Building 16 Port Sante, and the Department of Agriculture, like Greed. It's World Food Day Agri Nights Market on Wednesday, 18th October from 5 until 10. Don't you miss it!
Get ready to ignite your Tuesday nights with a show that's as educational as it is entertaining. Welcome to Pleasure Pulse, your weekly guide to the world of sex education. Join Roma every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. It's the perfect way to spice up your midweek routine and get answers to all your burning questions. Whether you're looking for relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Only on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. We realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
Same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom.
We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in CARIFORUM, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
Welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open and we are taking your calls. Let's take this call. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Cornelius. Carl here again.
Yes.
2 questions. Right? The parents, many parents, Devon, please to find out from the Ministry of Education, the top brass, what's the criteria for them to get the 250 voucher for independence? Because many of them are crying up to now. They have not seen or heard anything of that voucher. And I think that the school would have record, every teacher would have a record of how many students in the class and how many students per parent. The parents are asking how many students per parents would be getting or should be getting the 250 voucher and what's the criteria, because up to now many of them say they have not seen or heard, and you ain't hear nobody in the education saying anything about it. But you heard last week that every child is going to get a computer, a laptop or tablet, whatever, right? Every teacher is going to get one. So how come every child cannot get the 250 voucher? Because 250 can't buy a tablet and can't buy a computer or laptop. So please ask the question, because people are crying up to now and no teacher is telling them anything. They ain't hearing nothing from the Ministry of Education. What's the criteria for getting the voucher for independence? How many children per household or per parent is to get it? Because you hear last week, every child is going to get this laptop or tablet, and including every teacher. And the water thing. Are we next year, we're going to be in the same thing, asking it under every government, Devon. And every year around this time, you hear the same old cry. Devon, we have a period during the year when many of the years, when we get plenty rain. And you see, let's put the children in the word, zillions of gallons rush into the sea by many of the guts them. We have, I and a few other callers here for years has been saying to them, do what they call sluice. They used to do that at the roads, them going to the cane field and coming from the mountain. When the rain fall, they will dig holes and they will come down in the sluice and they will chop the water. I have said to them, we can set up pumps in the guts them. We set up the sluice system where you chop the water at a certain place in the gut, many gallons, and you can pump that water to farm. You can buy all the guts them around here, Devon. Somebody have farm or doing some kind of farming close to them. And also, Aki, I continue to say, they must not only set up the few tanks, the 1,000 tanks they say they bring in, right? And that ain't enough for constituency number 8, so we hope the persons will be bringing in some more tanks, because you know that ain't on go now. We have 1,000 tanks for between St. Peter's and Cairn, and people in Keys and Connery and those other places and Canada is asking if none for them, because they don't have water problems too. So those are the homework. We are asking the question and all the pastors, and nobody from the Ministry of Education is coming out and saying anything about the 250 independence voucher for the children. So they are asking for somebody to come on to say something. What's the criteria, how to go about it, how the parents will get it.
All right, Colin. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program. We have another caller on the line. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Yes, not to prolong this water thing, but in this age of internet and Google, you can easily get information. I just went there. Just for the education of your listeners, Devonne, next break, just Google it and see how long you can keep water in a pool.
I actually just went there, and it is saying between 5 to 7 years.
Of course, right? So that settles that. And it should also, and I'd advise the same thing when it comes to issues like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This thing just didn't start. It started 70 years ago when Israel was essentially created as a country, right? And so the issue is definitely more complex than all these people attacking Israel. Okay. Yeah. They forgot that Israel was created in terrorism when the British actually had mandate over the country before the creation of Israel. The current Israelis, the Israeli settlers then, actually used to terrorize the British. I remember the bomb one of the hotels which housed the British soldiers. So this thing didn't just start. And, we should, I think that one of the basic things we should do, all civilians are civilians, okay? Whether they are Arabs or Jews or whatever, Palestinians or whatever they are. And therefore, what the world should be calling for now is an end to hostilities and the protection of civilians, right? That is what should happen. And I don't see that happening, so we can look forward to another set of slaughtering. You know, this is just ridiculous, right? Every time, and that's the thing, if it is about Israel occupied the land since biblical times, the Jews occupied the land since biblical times, well, how far back are we going, right? Because the whole of North America should therefore be given back to the Indians, because they occupy the land there for us. So it is not a simple matter. In my opinion, they should be sharing the land, but every time you have a quiet period, nobody looks about getting the peace process going and finally reaching a permanent settlement. Everything, the status quo remains the same. So, of course, the Palestinians are going to protest this because they're living in a virtual prison, right? So it's definitely not a simple solution to this, or a simple matter of, the Jews were there first, which is debatable. So we should rather than react emotionally, Google it or go back in history and study the history of the place before you come on and make comments. It's not always the loudest voice that is right. Okay, and like I said, these problems are more complex than what meets the eye, and everybody have their own propaganda. As you can see right now, where depending on which channel you look, you see a proper Palestinian or a pro-Israeli stance. Everybody got their own propaganda. So you have to do your own research and sift through things. Okay then.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. We have another caller on the line. We'll take 2 more calls, all right? Caller, you are on the air.
Brother Devon.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, right? From the time Port Dante and the Southeast Peninsula developed, you understand? Was developing. I believe that the government and private sector and all those people who investing in these people could have do something about water insalation plant or whatsoever. You understand? They could have do something about that. Because we know that when land, we know that when development, house going build, hotel going down, and all kind of business place going down, and we know that the water they're going to use. So I believe that was our idea that was to come a long time. This idea is supposed to go. That's why I say like American Palestino, some the Palestino, because America always think 100 years about what they're going to do. You understand? But man, let me tell you something, we can't deal long time. We're talking about what's going on here with the water in the Federation, in St. Kitts and Nevis. We can't talk about Palestinians fight them since generation from generation. You understand? That's the thing down there.
All right, caller.
All right then.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. 1 more call and we'll begin wrapping up the conversation. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning, Devon. See everybody talking about water problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
This problem started way back. We must first look into when we stopped drill wells and St. Kitts. And 1982-85, Nevis to get brand new drilling rig. That was the very first time I went Nevis. I went Nevis and the said badge. Brand new truck to come from Canada. A man named Jerome Kinney. He was hired by the NIA, Nevis Oil Administration, to drill wells and Nevis. And it had Mr. Kinney was so concerned first, right? Then he was drafted over to Nevis. We had something great going in St. Kitts. Because the same man, Mr. Kinney, he went to the Caribbean drilling wells, And then after a while, let us put the man like the park up the drilling rig, and like wells get contaminated, no replacement. So this thing ain't a to the thing. Between the first Prime Minister, between the first Prime Minister and the second Prime Minister, this problem started to happen and nobody did nothing about it. By about 20 years or more, I am the radio talking, right? These men talking about desalination, right? Anyhow, we introduce desalination, cost of living gonna rise. Water rate can go up, electricity can go up, food in the supermarket and clothes and everything can go up because electricity can be involved. How much electricity gas the desalination plant coming pulling the ozone layer again? They're looking at what they're dealing with, with the drilling rig. The drilling rig go around the island and drill for water. We had these things in place on the brasso and the mash it up. The leaders after mash it up and asking what water services and tell you. Anyway, he's almost over here. You can't hear feel.
All right, caller, thank you for your contribution to the program. It is 11:54 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM, and you're listening to The Edge. I am Devonne Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining the conversation for today. There was a caller who asked about the $250 voucher to qualify. It is open to primary and secondary students aged 4 to 16 in public institutions in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it offers $250 for back to school needs. What I will encourage is, so if you fit into that category, if you have a child and that child is in that category and you've still not received the $250, the best advice I can give to you is for you to reach out to somebody directly at the Ministry of Social Development or the Ministry of Education. They will be best suited to assist you because it might be a unique situation as to why you did not qualify for the $250. So I cannot go to them with general information and say that some people ain't get, if you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm encouraging you guys to call them, have a conversation with them, and let them look at your case individually for them to give you an answer, as to why you did not qualify, and for them to find out what the issue really is. But as I said, I cannot give you I cannot go to them with general information and say that 10 people or 100 people have not received the $250 voucher. It's 11:57 here in the studios of ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. Very, very useful information and good feedback from the callers, a healthy discussion on the topic of water. We focused more on water, and we touched a little bit on food. We touched on water because the fact that the government is progressing with efforts to find water in the well recently dug in Kenyon, but the issue of water is a very serious one. Before I wrap up, though, I wanted to continue the point I was making earlier. We waste a lot of water, and so there's some people who think because they pay for the water, and some don't need to pay for the water, but there's some people who think because they pay their water bill, they have the right to turn on the pipe in the morning and then turn it off about 2 or 3 hours later. You're not helping the situation. You're making it worse for all of us, right? And so that is the thinking, unfortunately, that people have. Because they're paying for water, they could do whatever they like with it, which is really, really unfortunate. For me, we can't on one hand complain about water shortage when we are not doing enough to address the problem, right? And I make no apologies for making that statement. We have to do something to help ourselves. We have to be a part of addressing the situation, addressing the problem, right? I like the points made by the callers in terms of water saving water. The word last week is saving water, but we have a role to play. All right, guys, we're gonna have to wrap up the program. It is 12 o'clock. Until next time, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care.